Well, suddenly we're in Arles. I'm looking from our hotel room window out at the Rhone River. We've been traveling all day with the train strikes and all. We kind of got routed around, but we got here. About the first thing we have to do when we get into a city is figure out what we can do, where we can travel. And we have to get unpacked. Lois has a little room down the hall. We have a room that's pretty nice with the view out over the water. We also have the longest bathroom in Europe. And you can sit on the porcelain and look out at the Rhone River. Well, it's November 15th, market day in Arles. We're near the old Roman walls. The whole outer, what they call the rim road, is just lined with every type of conceivable little shop or store or concession. We're stopping for a break. There's just so much going on. One wonders how many markets have taken place in front of these ancient walls. Just exploring the markets, meet the ancient Roman walls and towers. This tree chewing up the stones of the ancient Roman wall. Little park that surrounds the ancient wall of the inner city of Arles.
Here we are at the Church of San Trophime. A very different style of sculpture now, much more rigid. The tympanum. And this great dragon jaguar at the bottom. Here we are on the other side of the portal. Inside the Church of San Trophime, and on the walls are beautiful tapestries. The amount of workmanship is phenomenal. The time it took to make these tapestries. Outside with the side chapels where all of the different bones and articles of clothing are stored.
Arles is famous for the old Roman Colosseum. A couple of thousand years has stripped off some of the facing marble and just exposed the underlayment. Well, from Arles, we took the trains and worked our way. We stayed in Genoa last night. And now we're by the sea. This town is Sestri, Levante, just above the Cinque Terre. And we have a little pensione. And we're watching the clouds, hoping they'll move away for our walk along the Cinque Terre tomorrow. And generally enjoying the beauty. Well, it's fairly early in the morning. We're leaving the town that we're headquartering in, Sestri, Levante. And we're waiting for our train to go down to Rio Maggiore, the southernmost of the Cinque Terre, and then begin our hike back this way.
We've had a festival, but that made caught my attention a lot.
Or could have just been Monday market.
Waiting for the train. Well, we've arrived at Rio Maggiore, the southernmost of the Cinque Terre cities, and we're beginning our hike up, looking for the trail. Height of the mountain. Looking down, you can see the sea for directions, and this gentleman now is showing us that the trail isn't the way the other gentleman showed us, but that if we go back down, we can find it. And he's pointing out that way down by the sea, there's a little trail going around the mountain, and that's the one we want to be on. Now we've found the path, or so we think. Out along the edge of a wind-blown Mediterranean Sea. We're leaving Rio Maggiore. It's a beautiful place. From sea to shining sea. There's just more beautiful coastline. More to see. A beautiful coastline. Rugged and wild, and it keeps waving at us. This is one of the little tunnels, and in each of the flowers somebody has painted a picture of a different city along the trail of the Cinque Terre. Pretty nice. Now the trail leads to the second city, Manarola. And we're on the trail. This is where it pays to be in pretty good shape. As you walk up out of the canyons. And along the angry sea. Well, we're going along the path and suddenly it turns a corner out into space. Well, here we come down the trail. It's pretty easy, actually. If you fall, you just go off down to the sea. And the trail goes on and on. This trail keeps winding. We're on the trail a little over an hour. Forward far the distance. Breakers coming in. So beautiful. And on towards the city of Cornelia. Walking along this beautiful pathway. And the trail crosses over little archways, the sea rushing to get underneath. And here goes the crew. Looking back at Manarola. It sits on the point above the sea. Quite a coastline we've hiked along. Alex points out that way out to sea is some kind of an ocean liner. Here's a loop, a tackle to lower boats down to that rocky shore. Along the beautiful flowers along the edge, and the little cabanas down to that rocky beach. Well, the leaves, grape leaves changing, and the bougainvillea. Beautiful. Couldn't be a more gorgeous day. A blue sky, a few puffy clouds. So we've hiked up now to the rail station, Cornelia. And we've got to go around this point and up through this village. Well, this trail now goes up in a series of staircases, up and up and up and up to the town. I'll take the picture now. We'll be too tired when I get to the top. Up the stairs. I think the boys have more energy than we do. Off some clothes, we're about halfway up. Walking through Cornelia. Nice hike through town. Now we're cutting down through the side canyons. The wind is still a little chilly, but it certainly is beautiful today. Groves of olive trees. And the nets where they're gathering the olives as they fall from the trees. This was our little picnic spot by the side of a little rill. Gorgeous place. We're hiking again. Enjoying the beauty. Well, this is where we have to go. And so we climb on up. Away from the little towns. Now in the distance we see the town we're headed for, Veranzo. Now we can see our path going down and then by a tower, and finally around to the city. Beautiful fall colors. Suddenly we have a surprise. The far town is not Vernazza, but where we saw that little tower or lighthouse stuck back in here along the trail is Vernazza. Beautiful. The bay at the end of our hike is Monterosa. But we sure have a neat town to explore first. Not many boys have gotten to do this. And they're sure enjoying it. Vernazza. Here's the train station as it comes out of the tunnel. Just for a moment to drop people off and then goes back into the hills. This town is fascinating. I think it may be the prettiest of the five. We still have a ways to go down. Hey, a model railroad. Boy, it's back into the other tunnel before you know it. Yeah, we're getting directions now again to find the trail. Thinking about having a cappuccino. It's definitely November. It's a beautiful little place. Well, fortified by cappuccino, little chocolate for the boys, a liberderci, ratio. We have a long climb. We were just down with the boats. And this is the way we came. And this is the trail and the way we're going. And now we're looking back down the coast. We've been climbing. Legs are burning. Here come Lois and Joe, making their way along the trail. Some beautiful spots as the trail moves up towards Monterosa. Then finally we see the last of the 5 cities. We still have a little hike, probably half an hour more. Sure is beautiful. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. We're getting closer. Half of the town is in shade now. The highway way up above. A beautiful little arched bridge.
A waterfall. Hi, Pop.
Well, about 5.5 hours ago, We started hiking way up there. There's 1, 2, and 1 hidden. 3, 4, 5 cities of the Cinque Terre along this beautiful coast. And on down the trail. We've still got a long ways to go to Monte Rosa. Well, this is the trail down in the canyons, heading towards the bottom. And once again, the trail leads down to the sea. Monte Rosa. And finally coming down the last, more formal stairs. After about 6 hours on a trail with straight ups and straight downs, and the beautiful coastline of Italy, the Cinque Terre, the end of a beautiful day. Self-portrait, man on a bridge, better composition. Monte Rosa. We're heading for the train where it comes out of the tunnel. Just for a brief moment before it goes back in. Well, we're entering the gates of Lucca, a walled city. We left the coast this morning by train on this Sunday, and now we're going to explore this city. There's some interesting architecture here. Down the streets of Lucca. This ancient church. In the walls around the square. Today is an antique market day, and so wherever you look, there's furniture and tables full of antiques. It's fun with this market in front of some of these ancient buildings.
C'è tutti di gradazioni
The antique market goes all over this part of town. And we've certainly seen a lot of antiques. And this is the famous mosaic that we walked across town to see. We're in the Piazza Santo Frediano.
We're looking at a beautiful Byzantine style mosaic.
I think we are, if the sky isn't overpowering the lens and shutting it down. We're always walking away or towards something else. Well, we're leaving Lucca, back to our hotel. This guy's been waiting to get in. There they are, walking away again. Suddenly we're in Firenze. What are we looking at, Joe?
We're looking at the Campanile, the bell tower that was designed by Giotto in the 1300s. And it's next to the baptistry and the Duomo, which is the main cathedral. The dome on the cathedral was designed by Brunelleschi. It's one of the feats of engineering. They couldn't figure out how to span the big arch inside, and it was only Brunelleschi who figured out how to lay the courses from the outside in to enable it to be open on the inside with the dome.
I think the light's especially beautiful today. It's late fall sun. Time for a picnic. Well, we just visited San Croce, the tombs of Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci and Galileo and a host of other greats. Dante Alighieri, An amazing place. Well, here we are on the train going to Siena this morning, looking up at Tepaldo, an Italian hill town. Quite impressive. A lot of new housing. And now, Siena.
Action Sam game.
Well, Joe went in to get some apples and stuff in this market. Joe went across the street to this little meat store and market to get bread. This is the famous square where the horse races occur all around the outside.
Go. Here we are at Siena's great cathedral. Beautiful, isn't it? Here we are at the main entrance of Siena's great cathedral.
It has the same pink and deep green marbles that you see on the Duomo in Firenze. At one time, Siena was as powerful as Firenze or the Florentines. It was a banking community. So you see wonderful works of art, even though the town is much smaller. An example of Gothic architecture, still pretty linear in the way that it's laid out, but look at the way all the different people up there have movement and the folds of their gowns, and they're leaning over and they're twisting and talking, and there's a feeling that they're real people, not just abstract statues.
And they're beautiful murals. And here's the cathedral's bell tower. Here we are on the other side of the piazza, looking back on the government tower.
This is from the hill looking out over parts of the city.
Well, this morning we hopped on a train and we came to Pisa. And here we are standing and looking at the Leaning Tower.
And the Duomo.
And the baptistry. And the Campo dei Miracoli.
Get the tower?
Yep.
It's still leaning.
Well, Mom, what do you think of it?
I think this is really beautiful. We haven't been in a cathedral where we've seen such an intricate array of woodworking. We saw some detailed gold leaf woodworking in the Mujahar Cathedral in Cordoba, but this is very different, very beautiful.
Notice how the windows are clean. They're smaller, so they take excellent care of this.
Here we are looking at some of their arches on the second floor, which have quite exquisite work on the roof. Oh, here's one of their stained glass windows. And it's just wonderful how anybody could build anything with so much beauty. And here's some of the beautiful reflection. Instead of just plain bright light, it has color and a picture inside a picture.
Well, they've got the leaning tower fenced off and all sorts of hydraulic pumping equipment inside. It's a beautiful tower. It's definitely showing signs of stress. They've got bands around trying to hold the bricks together. Some of these columns are beginning to kind of flake under the pressure. Hard to know how much longer it'll stand. Well, how much does the tower lean? Gives you a pretty good idea. What can you do to stop the leaning? Well, you can pile stacks of lead weights on one side.
And pump cement underneath it on the other.
But it doesn't look like it's having any real positive effect. An elaborate system of pumping and placing weights and trying at least to stabilize the foundation of the tower. It'll be interesting to see if they can save it.
Here Annie Lowe is.
Do you see that bas relief right on it, too, of the ships? Right here at the bottom.
Looking at the wonderful Tower of Pisa.
Not really that big.
Do you see that bas relief, Alex, of the ship on the side?
And there it is between the two towers, the two pillars
Uh-huh.
on the right of the door.
You see there's one over here, too?
Sailing sideways.
Stop a second and look over here. We're looking at what may have been a symbol of Pisa. We've seen it on several buildings now, the ships. Why it's vertically on its side, we don't know. But Pisa at one time was a very powerful maritime port that vied with Genova and Venezia for power and wealth. Look at the beautiful mosaics, the way the stone is all cut and carefully laid.
Well, here's something that reminds you of the past. And it sure is beautiful.
We're entering the Castel Vecchio here in Verona. The red brick of this castle in the middle of this beautiful city. Verona on this crisp, clear November morning. Really a beautiful city. We found it to be clean and we have a lovely place to stay. It's just an exceptional place to visit. Those are seagulls Some of the brickwork on this bridge. Looking out at the river.
Well, here we are at Sirmione, and we're looking at some of the local inhabitants of the lake. Here comes the fleet, and here comes the fleet.
The Lake Garda Special.
Look at the little one in the middle that doesn't know there's a marta going coming. Turn around, turn around. They're going the wrong way.
And then there's a swan.
Look at him.
And here's somebody who wants to socialize.
Isn't that a beauty? On that clean water. That's fun.
Well, here we are eating our first Italian pizza and enjoying ourselves next to the water and watching a lovely horde of ducks and swans. Here's some local inhabitants who came to check us out. With a bit of sparring. But here's the prince.
How's lunch? It's good, it's good.
There's our duck with the beige feathers.
Call him the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling.
Ugly duckling.
Well, here's somebody who's a bit different.
Yeah, that's a merganser duck, eh? We have some in Canada.
That's a very strange swan, isn't it?
Yep.
Have you got that swan? Did you take?
I think he was out in a storm.
And I'm still trying to decide what's going on. Because I've never seen a swan this color. But there's two of them here now.
Gorgeous walkway along here. Lake Garda. Ooh, the colors are just gorgeous today. Along Lake Garda. Not far from Verona.
Si scortava, sul cacano, ma si scortava anche qui, che mangiava il colombo.
Well, it's Saturday. We're in Verona. And the boys are playing in a little park. And we're out to explore more of this beautiful city. This is San Giorgiano along the river as we walk through Verona. All the different shapes. Really pretty. It's really different architecture. Along the DJ River, what they call the Old Bridge, the Old Stone Bridge. Verona is a very special place. If it's nice here in March and April, we'll come back. The river loops around the town. And there's this beautiful walkway all the way around. Off the main street, these beautiful little walkways up the hillside. And this is some of the older part of Verona. Looking down at the water flowing. So 15 minutes away is Lake Garda. There's also this beautiful hill country. Even on a cold, kind of hazy day, really pretty. Architectural styles. Look at the windows in this old building. Like a Moorish African influence.
Here we are in front of the main Duomo of Verona, which has a very old and archaic look to it. Here's a close-up of the tympanum, how simple the figures are and how rigid and linear. Here are these strange griffin columns guarding the doors. Going up to these primitive figures up above. These statues are similar to San Trofim that we saw in Arles. We haven't really seen the sculpture with the carved column above and below.
Well, we took the train from Padua, and we're in Venice this morning. It's a little cloudy, but it's not too cold. It's Lois's last day. She gets on the train at Padua at 8 o'clock tonight and heads for Paris.
Well, here's a fork in the water, and which canal to take? Are we gonna go to the right or are we gonna go to the left? Well, it looks like we have to go left.
It's the Shalom boat.
I don't think that there's any way to go if we dare to go right. Well, here's something that might make a beautiful painting. Here we are looking at another one of Venice's churches. Well, here's gondola service. And I guess that's what Venice is known for. And especially this kind. These people wanted to take a ride, regardless of the cost. So they did. And here we go. Out into the main channel. Boy, that's hard. Well, here's the inside of one who's sitting here waiting. Here's a tower next to a place for dinner or lunch. And then there's a famous bridge in the back. And this famous bridge is the Rialto Bridge. This is some awfully fine woodwork, isn't it? Well, here we are on the bridge, looking down on one of Venice's big canals. With gondolas and almost every other kind of boat you can imagine. Taxi, taxi. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were a boat. Here we go under the bridge.
This guy's cheery in his red and white stripe.
Yeah, that's typical.
St. Mark's.
They're through now. Alex, you might be.
Here we are at the long-awaited St. Mark Cathedral.
They're working on the top of the tower here at St. Mark's. This lovely St. Mark architecture. We'll walk out towards the water. A lot of repair work going on. Still just gorgeous. The weather's really not that bad today, but the pigeons don't like it.
Here this is, and it appears to be the police station.
Police boat.
And here's how they police the canals. Here's the Italian Mardi Gras store.
All the masks for Mardi Gras.
Yummy in my tummy. Italian bakeries in Venice.
Greetings from the Piazza Royale. Piazza Palazzo. We left Padua by train yesterday, and we got to a little town which is east of Naples, and we spent the night, and now we're in this magnificent, gigantic palace. Some pretty nice lions, huh? This is a whole room dedicated to Mars and mythology in the palace. This gigantic palace is just a type of Versailles or Fontainebleau, but for the Napoleonic reign. Seem to be Bourbons. We don't have a guidebook yet. The kings that controlled from Napoli all the way south and had alliances with Napoleon at this time. The chandeliers and the artwork. Kind of fun. This is a room with cases full of these great models. This one of some kind of a caravan or traders, an ancient arch. And this big central one. Just seems, it's really interesting.
the nativity. Look at this, some people dressed from all over.
People from all the different cultures of the Middle East mixing around in this thing. And up in the center, the nativity. I hope these come out. It's awfully dark in here. Just the faces and the expressions and the costume. Really fabulous. And the traders and the herders, pastoral. Switching around the scenes of...
Look, here they're having their pasta at the table. Here's a couple sitting down having their pasta at the table, and the musicians are serenading them, and the
That's great.
meat
Isn't it?
hanging on the walls of the machileria.
Oh my. Meanwhile, there's a wagon going by in front. Musical instruments of some type.
Look at those two guys sleeping back there. He's dead.
It's amazing. A lot of beautiful art. And that shepherd's dog is pretty unhappy, isn't he? The shepherd. Traders with all their pewter or silver. Quite an effect. Well, we arrived in Sapri last night. Got a great 3-star hotel for about $65 a night. There's no one here. And we're out to explore. We're hiking up the road that finally goes to Maratea. This is basically the town of Sapri.